welcome back to the National Aquatic Centre's Day 1 finals of the Irish It's been great to be back here. It's just great to be back racing, I think, particularly with spectators here. And
that's on the screen now.
So yes, it's great to have it back in the home of Irish swimming, and there's been some good swims this morning.
How tricky has that been the last couple of years? Obviously, a very few barren years without being able to host these championships. How tough is that both for the swimmers and for the coaches?
Well, it's not been so tough for the high performance guys because they were allowed to train and race at least in Ireland at that time. For everybody else who was in the world of swimming, if you like, that are aspiring to be at that level, they found that really difficult. Their pools were closed. If we could get them training, they weren't permitted under legislation to race. We couldn't get a certain number of people together under one roof at any one time. So as an indoor sport, it was really, really challenging. So they've had a tough time, and those that have stuck it out and are here racing, and these youngsters that, hoping to be in Paris or Los Angeles in the years to come, all testament to them, because they've had to show some real fortitude to get through these times.
And looking forward to the summer ahead, obviously a real frantic season and a busy season, which is great to see for so many. Would you outline the plans for the senior swimmers and also the junior swimmers that have a hectic schedule?
Sure. There's at least 6 or 7 international meets this summer that we could potentially attend. We've got the meets that would traditionally be in 2022, plus meets that have been pushed back from 21 because of COVID and the Olympics being shifted. So it's forced a real bottleneck upon us. For the seniors, for the Republic of Ireland athletes, the focus will be on the European Championships in Rome. For the Northern Ireland athletes, the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. Some athletes may choose to use the World Championships in Budapest, but only as a preparation meet for those competitions. We've made it clear that they're our focus benchmark meets. For the juniors, the European Junior Championships in Romania, and for the younger guys, the European Youth Olympic Festival in Slovakia. So they would be our sort of 4 key areas. The Northern Ireland guys that swim the Commonwealth Games will in the main swim the European Championships as well, just to give us our depth in our relays. But yeah, it's a tough all summer to get through and a lot to navigate.
Yeah, exactly. But as we said, given the couple of years off we've had, there seems to be a great sense of excitement building and a real feel-good factor around the National Aquatic Centre and around Swimming Ireland in general as well.
Yeah, I think so. And people have been waiting for this for a long time. And, we had a short course nationals just before Christmas, but the spectators weren't allowed in. And we had the McCullough International in Bangor in February. And again, the spectators weren't there. So we were creeping back towards something that was a little bit more regular. This would be the first time that you would say we've done that. And look, the vast majority of coaches out there in Ireland through the pandemic kept engaged with their athletes, kept them motivated through land training and online education sessions, and as a national governing body we did the same. We did our best to try and support that, and you see now that that's worked. The majority of athletes have stayed with the sport and are here and still racing well, and hats off to everybody that did their piece during that time.
And just to preview a couple of the finals coming up this evening, that 100-metre breaststroke, we've got 4 extremely talented swimmers in there. We saw in the short course championships with Oisin Cook and Owen Corby having a few ding-dong battles. I'm sure you're going to think that's going to be a similar case with the 4 of them going hammer and tongs.
Yeah, I mean, between Dara, Owen and Oisin, you would say any one of those 3 guys would get their hands on the wall first. Dara's pre-selected for this summer, so he's not rested for this meet, but Owen and Oisin certainly are, and need to achieve times to qualify for the Europeans. So they'll be right on it tonight. There isn't a non-exciting race to look forward to this evening. There's something in there. Great to see 2 of our juniors swim European Junior consideration times this morning with Grace Hodgins and Liam Custer. That's great to see in the morning. That's what we need. We need people at 10:30 in the morning, do their times. Then they can get past the heats and into finals when you put them in an Irish tracksuit. So on day 1, can't ask much more of our junior swimmers.
And for you, just finally in your role, how important is it to see, as you mentioned, for swimmers to put that pressure behind them, achieve a time in the morning, and it probably gives them a little bit of a lease of freedom for this evening going into a final.
Oh, absolutely. They can swim the final tonight with as you said, absolute freedom and enjoy the process and see if they can swim faster. It's the coach is getting them to do the times in the morning. It's all credit to them as well as the athlete for giving them that opportunity tonight to swim nice and loose and without any concern. So it does make a big difference. And as I say, we're not a nation that is blessed with a range of athletes that can swim substandard in the morning and still get through to semi-finals and finals in the evenings. We've got to do a job first thing, and so the sooner they learn that, the better, and that's what those youngsters are showing.
Thank you very much, John, and hopefully we'll talk to you throughout the course of the week. That was John Rudd previewing the finals for day one of the Irish Open Championships of 2022. We'll look forward to getting into the action now. Yes, welcome back to the National Aquatic Centre for the Day 1 finals of the Irish Open Championships for 2022. It was brilliant to be talking to John Rudd just there, the Director of High Performance here in Swimming Ireland. Andrew Blair-White here to take you through the evening session alongside Nicholas Quinn, as I was this morning. And Nicholas, I know we said it a few times this morning, but it really is a fascinating card of races to look forward to. Plenty, even from an individual standpoint, competing for times, and then obviously trying to get those gold medals at the Irish Open Championships under the belt as well.
Yeah, for sure. The athletes will all be here looking to pick up PBs as a starting point, then looking at winning medals and winning golds, winning national titles, and then for some athletes will be looking at qualifying for one of those major events, whether that be a juniors, whether it's Youth Olympics or European Juniors, or one of the 3 senior competitions that we have this year in Commonwealth Games for the Northern Irish athletes, Europeans for everybody, and then World Championships are on this summer. So hopefully we'll see some fast swimming this evening. I know there's a couple of events that I'm really looking forward to. The men's 100 breaststroke, obviously. You got Dara Green, you got Oisin Cook, you got Owen Corby, which I think is going to be a fascinating race to see how they get on. I also think the women's 400 freestyle, there's a few girls looking for the junior qualification and EYOF qualification. I think men's 200 fly could be a really interesting one. There's 4 guys that are really close to going sub 2 minutes. Should be a good race.
Yeah, real fascinating races on show this evening. Just to go through the lineup of what we have for you. We start off with the 400 metre freestyle. We've got a mixed final there. Then we have got the men's 400 metre freestyle junior and senior finals. The same for the women's after that. Then we move on to the male 100 metre breaststroke finals. The B final, junior final and senior final. And the girls 100 metre butterfly, B junior and senior. The boys 200 metre butterfly, B junior and senior. Then we've got the 50 metre freestyle, women's 50 metre freestyle, B junior and senior. The senior should be a fascinating race between Danielle Hill and Erin Reardon, qualifying in the exact same time of 25.67. Both of them may be looking to push Danielle Hill's Irish senior record of 25.19 this evening. And we conclude with the 50 metre backstroke for the men with B final, junior final and senior final. So we've a packed card this evening. Just going back to that time in between races, so you'd have had plenty of experience of this, obviously swimming in the morning, getting through maybe 1 or 2 events. What's that little downtime like in between, and how hard is it to, I suppose, try and relax the mind before refocusing again this evening?
Yeah, it's definitely really important. I think the pool at these major championships is quite an intense environment, and people have been built up for the morning swims, and it's about coming down, making sure you're refueling, trying to get some rest. People will try and have a nap, whether they're able to get to sleep or not. They'll all just chill out for an hour or 2 and then get up, and making sure their refueling strategies from the heats are on point so that they're ready to go when they get to these finals. So I would always try and get a nap in between sessions. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't, but you'd be chilling out anyways. And then once you get to pool, it's game face on and ready to go again for finals.
And what sort of kind of nervous atmosphere would you have if your race was perhaps, in half an hour's time? What's that final couple of minutes like building up to that? Is it trying to get yourself into a certain frame of mind, or has the physical conditioning obviously has all been done prior to that?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me personally, it was about I like to have as little time as hanging around as possible. So I would have my schedule written out before I got to the pool, and it would be very arrive, land warm up, pool warm up, get changed into my race suit, have something quick to eat, and the first time you'd really sit down and relax would be in the call room, and you'd only have maybe 10 or 15 minutes at that point. So at that stage, it's just about maybe going over your race processes in your head once or twice more, and then just relaxing, because as you said, all the work is done at that point. It's just to execute and have fun at that stage.
And as I said just a few minutes ago, in regards to the potential breaking of a senior record this evening, Danielle Hill holds that 50-metre free record at 25.19. Both herself and Erin Reardon posting times of 25.67 this morning. Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think Danielle, as I said this morning, she looked like had a little bit extra on those last couple of strokes into the wall, so I'm sure she'll be looking to go quicker this evening. From Erin, that was a great swim this morning. She actually PB'd, and she's 0.15 off qualification for European Championships, so that would be a major goal for her. Whereas Danielle, having competed at the Olympics last year in Tokyo, she's already pre-qualified, but both of those girls, I'm sure, will be looking to go faster than what they swam this evening, and it'll be interesting to see who gets their touch and is national champion in 50 freestyle.
Yeah, it should be fascinating. As you can see on your screens at the moment, the first final we have today is in the mixed 400-metre freestyle, and it's Barry McClements near side in lane 3 from Ards, and Amy Sheridan in lane 5 from the NAC club.
Both of these athletes are pre-qualified or have met the minimum standard for qualification for World Para Championships, which are on in Madeira in Portugal in the summer. So they're just looking to post a fast time here, and Barry will be looking to qualify for Commonwealth Games later on in the week, but they'll be just focused right now on trying to put a fast swim in and start this session off well.
Yeah, like we did for the morning session, the plan will be for myself and Nicholas to take you through in between races and hand over to Andrew Bree at poolside for the commentary as we bid to start off our first day finals here at the National Aquatic Centre. Crowd beginning to build, and we have the mixed 400-metre freestyle to start us off. Again, Barry McClements near side in 3, and Amy Sheridan far side in 5. Just a bit of testing going on with the boards at the moment. A little bit more time for us to discuss, and as you said, that 200-metre butterfly final that we're going to see later on today, we had 4 or 5 guys qualifying in a very similar time as well. Could be a fascinating watch, really, you know, when you've got Paddy Johnson in there, Ethan Hansen, Liam Custer, Finn McGeever, all within a second or two of each other.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really exciting race. I think it could be one of our closest races this evening. Paddy is the favourite with the PB, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, looks like this time around going to see these two athletes get on their way. We'll hand over to Andrew.
All right, welcome back to the second session here at the NAC finals session on day 1. So our first race is the mixed 400 freestyle multi-classification event. 2 swimmers, Barry McClements from the Ards swim team and Amy Sheridan training out of the NAC right here. So Barry's time 4:34.54, taking it out nicely on a 30.68. Amy turns on a 35.72. So Barry should be out under 105 here at this first 100. 104.55. So if he can hit a few sub 110 splits for the remainder 300 meters, we'll see a nice swim from Barry this evening. So Amy turns around at 100 meters on a 1:15.67. Amy's seated time is a 5:26.79. So a big range of finals coming up tonight, folks. We have some junior finals, some B finals, and then obviously the A championship finals. We got the boys 400 free after this. Then the women's 4 free. We got the 100 breaststroke for the men. And then the girls 100 fly. And then following that with a 200 fly. And finishing off with the women's 50 freestyle. And a bit of backstroke to finish. But here we go. 200 meters now, 2:14, 2:13.95. So he might just be under that 4:34. Let's see if we can bring this last 200 meters home. Amy now approaching her halfway mark. So Amy hitting the wall there at 200 meters on a 2:37.22. Okay, so Barry now approaching 25 meters to go for his final turn at this end. Tying up a little bit. Still good length and distance per stroke. Amy touches a 250 on a 3:18.17. So here we go. 100 meters now left for Barry McClemens, the yard swimmer. He turns in a 3:23.93. So if we can bring that home under 1 minute and 10 seconds, we'll see a slight personal best. Okay, that was Barry's final wall now, 3:58.91. All right, here we go, finishing off now, 15 meters to go for Barry McClemens. He's got 10 seconds to get into that wall to break that 4:34. 4:34.54 was his time. He just might be under. He is. Nice job, Barry. 4:33.81. Always good to hit the wall and see a personal best on the big screen. Nice work. So Amy now just coming through her last 35 meters in this 400. So we've lost the big clock on the scoreboard. So see what she comes in. 5:26 seated time. Put your hands together if she's under that 5:26, folks. Oh, look at that. 6 seconds. Good job, swimmers. A nice opening event for our finals session tonight. So the guys are coming up next now. 400 meter freestyle, starting with the junior final, I believe.
Yeah, two very good swims there. Barry McClement in at 4:33.81.
Yes,
Amy Sheridan comprehensively beating her time this morning at 5:20.07. She'd be delighted with that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all you can really ask for when you're swimming from heats to finals. You want to make sure you're moving that on and going faster in the final. So I think both the swimmers there managed that. So I think they'll be going away happy from that. As I said, they've already met the minimum qualification standard for Para Worlds. So they might not necessarily be rested for this. They might be focusing on that in the summer. So moving on heats to finals is always a positive thing. So they'll probably be happy with that.
Yeah, very strong progression from the two of them. Which is Very good to see. And it moves us on to our junior final of the 400 metre freestyle. In lane 0, closest to us is Michael Keogh from Terranure. In 1 is Daniel Edgar from Lisburn. In 3 is Emmett Cousins from New Ross. In 2 is Emmett Cousins from New Ross. In 3 is Daniel Harvey from Ards. In 4 is John Short from Bluefin. 5 is Finn O'Neill from Glenalbin. 6 is Robert Mullen from Templeogue. 7 is Aidan Cook from Kilkenny. Tristan Egan is in 8 for Aer Lingus. And Ben Merrigan in 9 for Dolphin. The junior final here, John Short, the fastest qualifier this morning at 4:23.65 in lane 4. Getting ready for the junior final of the men's 400 metre freestyle.
Okay, junior final underway. Fastest qualifier, John Short, the 15-year-old from Bluefin. He is seeded time. His prelim time was a 4:23.65. So O'Neill beside him in 5 is on a 4:24, and then Harvey on a 4:25. As we approach the first set of flags in this 400 free, it looks like it's going to be the center lanes. So it is Finn O'Neill stamping his authority on that first 50 with a 28.64. Short's actually in 3rd on a 29.1, with Daniel Edgar from Lisburn sneaking in on that 2nd position as we go through 75 meters in about 43 seconds. So all looking pretty comfortable, but look out for Short. He came back pretty strong this morning. So these guys need to get it moving in the center part of this race, in the 1 to 200 and the 2 to 300 part of the race. Both guys coming up about 6 meters, but they've made their move now. 59.8, 61.0, and then we have a few more guys on 101 and 102s. All right, here we go. Coming up now, 150 at this wall. Still O'Neill, the Glenalbin swimmer. He's on pace to break that 4:24. Let's see what he does. Hits the wall first, just about. 1:32.59 to John Short's 1:33.5. Daniel Edgar still holding on for Lisburn on a 1:35.22. And then right beside him, Emmett Cousins from New Ross on a 1:36. So can Edgar make a move out there? He's a little bit back. He's out in lane 1. Always love a good swimmer out in the outside lanes that make a move. But a lot of clear water as the first 2 swimmers approach 200 meters. We're going to be about a 2:05. 2:05.65 for Finn O'Neill. 2:06.5 for Short. Edgar on a 9. Cousins 11.11. And then we have Robert Mullen right behind Cousins on a 2:11.82. Nothing between those 2 guys. As you look at the pool, anywhere from 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, it's anyone's game. Let's see who's going to finish this. But look out, here comes Mr. John Short. He's lengthening out that stroke. Let's see if O'Neill has got anything in the tank. We're still a good bit of this race to go. 135 meters. But the Bluefin swimmer is now making a move. He's breathing every stroke to his right, so he sees exactly where he is. Let's see if he can increase that tempo and turn this into a big race for the first junior final of the night. So we should be around 3:11, 3:12 here to the feet. Who's got it? Just about, folks. Look at the gap. John Short has made a move, so it's 3:12 to 3:18. Edgar's still there, 3:17. He's increased his lead over Cousins. And then we've got Daniel Harvey from Ards coming in on a 3:21. He's left it a little bit late to make a move, but it's these 2 guys out front. This is what swimming's all about. Head to head with only meters to go. 5 meters now, final wall. Who's got that oxygen to pop off this wall and go? Nothing between them, 3:45.9 to 3:46.37. Who's going to take the title? 400-meter freestyle junior final. I'm walking with them, and I'm walking pretty fast. 25 meters to go. Can Short do it? Or will O'Neill hold on? This is going to come right down to the wire. So these guys were 4:23 and 4:24 this morning. Put your hands together for a race. Look at that, folks. 3/100ths of a second to finish a 400 free. Nice job, Finn O'Neill. He held on from the very start. 4:17.55 to John Short's 4:17.58, with Edgar coming in on a 4:24. So not only did they go under 4:20, they smashed it. Good job, fellas.
Yeah, brilliant. Watch that. The junior final, Finn O'Neill just about getting it at 4:17.55 to John Short, 4:17.58. Well clear of third, and those two got at it from plenty early in that 400 free.
Yeah, for sure. That was a great race. Finn O'Neill took it out very strong from the very start, and he led the whole way from start to finish, but John Short definitely pushed him all the way. I thought he was going to get the touch at the end, but Finn O'Neill just got there ahead of him. So that's a great first junior final that we've had, and to see two guys go head to head is always fun.
Yeah, very much so. We're going to see John Short later on in the evening as well. But that was a very good start to proceedings with that junior final. Pulsating affair there between Short and O'Neill. The two of them were pretty much stroke for stroke at the finish there, and that's going to lead us on to our first senior final, and a hotly contested one at that, between plenty of good swimmers. We saw Robert Powell put in a swim that probably wasn't anywhere near as quick as we know he can swim. Would you have thought that was just a case of job done this morning?
Yeah, I think so. 400 freestyle is a tough event. Doing two of them back to back in a day can be quite tough. So I think he was probably saving a little bit. You could see in the last 50 this morning, he had that kick in his legs to go to that brought him back really strong. So expect him to take it out a little bit stronger this afternoon, especially because he's predominantly known as a 100 and 200 freestyler. So he's stepping up to that 400. Should be interesting. I know he's just back from an altitude camp with the centre in Dublin, so that will definitely have helped his aerobic capacity, so we'll see if that shows in the 400 now.
Now seeing them come on lane 9 to start off with. Neddy Irwin. Lane 0 there is Ben David from UCD, age 21 years of age. In lane 7 there is James Cummings Candle from Ards, 17 years of age. Lane 1 closer to us there is Ben Moran from Aer Lingus. Ronan Fahy in lane 7 here from Trojan, 17 years of age, seat on a 4:14.24 this morning. In lane 2 next is going to be Dennis O'Brien, the 15-year-old from Limerick. Exciting prospect, 4:12.54 for him this morning. In 6 is going to be Adam Colgan from Lisburn. Very strong swim of 4:08.38 this morning. He goes in lane 6. Lane 3 will be next out, and that'll be a colleague from Lisburn, Jack Fleming, 21 years of age, 4:07.52 this morning. To lead us down to our final two, starting off in lane 5, the aforementioned Robert Powell, 4:06.38 this morning. He had a qualifying time of 3:56, so we know what he can bring to the table, Robert Powell, but he's going to have his work cut out against lane 4 here, and that's Nathan Whiffen, 21 years of age from Larne. Solid swim this morning of 4:01.97. The two Whiffen brothers dominating Irish swimming in recent months, and he's got a good hand here in the senior final of the 400 metre freestyle.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be a great race. We'll see if Nathan or Robbie or even Jack, I know it was a PB for Jack this morning, but see if any of those boys can go sub 4 minutes. That'll be the aim. That'll be what's in their head. That's the 4 minute barrier that the guys will want to go past. Nathan's training out in Loughborough at the minute, so he's back over representing Lisburn, so it'll be interesting to see how he does this evening.
Yeah, fascinating clash here. Ben David, Ben Moore and Dennis O'Brien, Jack Fleming, Nathan Whiffen, Robert Powell, Adam Colgan, Ronan Fahy, James Cummings-Candle and Neddy Irwin. Your 10 to go in the senior final of the 400 metre freestyle. It's over to Andrew.
All right, here we go. Big final now. A final. Men's 400 metre freestyle. Fastest qualifier, Nathan Whiffen in lane number 4 for Larne. He swam a 4:01.97. So let's see what he's going to do. He's got the black cap there. Robbie Powell taking this one out in lane number 5. Fleming's in the mix. They're all going to be in the mix, I think, right up until about 3:50. This is going to be a good race. I bumped into Robbie just before the final started and he was smiling. So happy swimmer, fast swimmer. 75 meters through now on about a 40-point high. Looking very controlled. But don't rule out any of these swimmers. Lane number 6 has got skills. That's Adam Colgan and then his teammate Jack Fleming. So it's the Lisburn guys on the outside as we approach 100, 56.89. Okay, we're working pretty good. 56.89 for Powell. Whiffen on a 57.4, out slower than this morning. Fleming on a 58.0. And then the only other swimmer under, Adam Colgan in lane number 6. Rest of the field all pretty even. Good wee race coming to right here, 7, 8 and 9. That's Fahy, Cummings, Candle and Irwin closest to me. Here we go, 150 now, 127.13. Powell still in front. The order hasn't changed, but Whiffen's making a little bit of a move now. So these guys need to be holding around 10, probably about 1 minute 101 for these 4 100 meter intervals, but it's a good race now. These two guys have broken away for the rest of the field. 157.57. Whiffen is the first time he's taken the lead in this race. Robbie Powell, 157.81. Yes, that's 4 100th of a second. You can't even get that on a stopwatch. Powell's not giving up though. Look at this. Look at this stroke for stroke. The stroke rate's pretty much identical. Both left arms in, both right arms in at the exact same time. We're approaching 250 now. So again, these guys need to be 30 points all the way through. Good indication they're on 228s now, so we definitely should see a sub 4 minute swim. Unless something drastic changes, but it's going to be a sub 4 minute swim. It's who wants it more. Both breathing now to their right. Both probably wondering what I'm talking about. Here we go, 300 meters coming up. They were 3 minutes this morning. They're going to be under just about 2:59.2 for Powell. Whiffen on a 2:59.38. 1/10 of a second now, 1/10. Let's see who wants it. The legs are going to start kicking. We've still got Jack Fleming from Lisburn in 3rd, looking pretty comfortable. He's going to out-touch his teammate. But Powell now, he's turning on the speed. 5 meters for his final wall. Going to walk with him all the way. So Powell hits first. He's extended that lead just slightly. What does Whiffen got? What does he got? Here we go. So it's Robbie Powell now all the way through. I don't think Whiffen's going to catch him. Look at the kick. What a beautiful stroke out front. 25 meters to go. He timed that perfectly with that move about 20 meters from the wall on that last turn. And it's Robbie Powell, ladies and gentlemen, all the way through. He's going to be sub 4 minutes. Get in there, Robbie. 3:59.02 wins it. Nathan Whiffen second, just over that mark on a 4 minutes 81. And then Jack Fleming held on into that 3rd. He was pretty strong all the way through on a 4:04.13. Nice 400 freestyle, gentlemen.
Yes, what a brilliant swim there from Robert Powell. We were just discussing before the race how he was perhaps a little bit sluggish this morning. 4:06. The master plans all come together. He's sub 4 minutes and he's done superbly there to beat off Nathan Whiffen.
Yeah, for sure. The master plan always comes together when you get that touch. But yeah, no, that was a well swam race by Robbie there. He looked really long and efficient through that first 300, and then he still had that little bit of a kick. You could see his stroke rate and went to his legs a little bit more, and had just enough to pull away from Nathan on that last 100. But that 4 minutes, 0.81 for Nathan is still a brilliant swim. I think it was a PB this morning. I think that's another PB, and the same from Jack and Adam. I think a lot of those guys moved on their times from this morning, which were more PBs as well. So across the board, that was some positive swims and another exciting race.
Yeah, the times on your screen there at the moment. Powell beating Whiffen, Jack Fleming from Lisburn getting that third place position in lane 3. Very strong swim from him as well, taking off a couple of seconds off his time this morning. But Robert Powell, a superb swim. As you say, he was just always seemingly in control, and when he was matching Whiffen stroke for stroke in that first 200 of the race, you kind of felt that the writing was on the wall that he may have that kick.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to know with Robbie, especially because he's probably more of a 100 and 200 freestyler. You don't know if he's maybe gone out a bit too hard, but his stroke, his rate and his length in his stroke was really controlled, so I always kind of thought that he had an opportunity to kick on in that last 100, and he proved that coming off the wall and was really strong finish to the race.
Yeah, so that moves us on to the women's 400 metre freestyle finals, and we're starting off with the junior final. Closest to us in lane 0 is Jessica Robson from Lisburn. In lane 1 is Anna Nikashina from Portmarnock. Roisin Irene in 2. Rebecca Friel in 3. Ciara Aiken in 4. Laura Potts is in 5. Ruth Kelly in 6. Jessica Purcell in 7. Hannah McCabrey is in 8. And Molly O'Brick is in 9. Having a look at them there, it doesn't look like we have a swimmer in lane 8. So Hannah McCabrey not taking part in the junior final. We move on to the women's event here. Ciara Aiken at 4:40.37, the best qualifying time this morning.
Okay, junior final now, women's 400 metre freestyle underway, event number 2. So fastest qualifier in this is the Ard swimmer, 4:40.37. Her name is Ciara Aiken. She's there in the navy cap in the lane number 4. Lane 5 is Laura Potts. And then we have a stack of swimmers very, very close all around the 4:40 to 4:43 range. So it could be anyone's race here as we approach 50 metres. Hits the wall first. Who have we got? Out there, Molly O'Brick from Asgard out in lane number 9. Didn't even see her, 30.97. She's leading it. She's dropped back a little bit now. As Rebecca Friel from Ora Dundalk Club, she was a 4:43. She's making a move now. So these swimmers need to be about a 1:05, 1:06 if we're going to make any impact on this morning's swim. Let's see what we go. 1:05, 1:06, right on the button. 1:05.14 for Rebecca Friel. Aiken still there on a 1:06.1. She was a 1:06.2 this morning. And then Laura Potts on a 1:06.6. So these girls averaging 34 points per 50. And they all need to be around 110 or below, or sorry, just around 110. There was a few 111s, 112s split times this morning, but the closer they can average those 100 meter splits to 110, the faster they're going to be, obviously. So here we go. 139.7 for Friel. Aiken 141. And then my favorite name in swimming, Nikashinika. I'm going to get practice with that, I promise. She's moved up, the Portmarnock swimmer in lane number 1 with the yellow cap over there. But here we go, approaching 200 meters. They got to be under 216. They're going to be 214, 215 perhaps. Oh, a good bit under 214.81 for Friel. No sign of slowing down. Aiken hasn't let her get away too much though on a 216.7. And then Jessica Purcell has moved up into third. So let's see if Aiken can back end this swim. Or how much does Rebecca Friel have left? She's now turning lane number 3. So Rebecca was a 4:43 this morning, but she's well on pace to break 4:40 if she keeps this up. Ciara Aiken now cruising through. She's bringing in a little bit more of the legs. So 25 meters to go. After this turn, the next time they'll see it, it'll all be over. So I'd say about a 3:25. Good 3 seconds up on this morning. 3:25.5. Aiken on a 3:27. She was a 3:26 earlier. So she's going to be thereabouts, but I think it's going to be Rebecca Friel if she holds on. And she could hold on for a nice sub 4:40 swim. How far under the 4:40 is the question. All right, final turn here in this junior final. Rebecca Friel, she hits the wall on a 4:92. So what do you think, folks? I'm going to predict a 4:37.98. 4:37.98. Let's see if she can get in close to that. Ciara Aiken made up some ground there, but a little bit too late. She's going straight arm. Is she going to go 36? She's going to go under that, folks. Look at that. 4:35.59 for Friel. She smashed that seeded time of 4:43. That's a fantastic swim. Second place, Ciara Aiken, also under the 4:40. She was a 4:38.23. And then rounding out your top 3, Miss Kelly Ruth came through for New Ross on a 4:40.61. Good job.
Yeah, what a brilliant run from Rebecca Friel there. 4:35.59 from Ora Swim Club. Ciara Aiken was second all the way. Ruth Kelly in third from New Ross. Rebecca Friel shaving near on 9 seconds off her morning time. That's an outstanding effort.
Yeah, for sure. Like moving on that much, 9 seconds is a big drop from heat to finals. I think that's also faster than her entry time into the meet as well. So I think she was 4:38 entered into the meet. So that looks like that could be a PB. So I'm sure she'll be delighted with that. She definitely controlled the race from start to finish and looked really strong throughout with a big finish at the end.
Yeah, I think based off her reaction, I'm sure it was a PB. There seemed to be an awful lot of smiling, which rightly so. Given to put in such a good swim in a big event like this. She takes home the junior final of the 400 metre women's freestyle. Well done to Rebecca Friel, 16-year-old from Ora, beating Ciara Aiken into second and Ruth Kelly in third. That moves us on to the final, the senior final, and in lane 9, the first woman you're going to see there, Hannah O'Shea, 18 years old from Dolphin. In lane 0, closest to us, is going to be Grace Cochrane, the 15-year-old from Lurgan. In lane 8 is Lottie Cullen from Swim Belfast, 18 years of age. After that, in lane 1, again closer to us, is Danielle Farrell from Sligo, the 19-year-old. Over in lane 7 is Hazel Bentley from Asgard. In lane 2 is Alwyn Cook from NCL Limerick. In lane 6 is Ella Carroll, also from NCL Limerick. In lane 3 is the 15-year-old from Ards, Grace Davison, with a qualifying time this morning of 4:28.8 for Grace Davison. In lane 5 is Amelia Kane, the 19-year-old from Ards, 4:27.4 her morning time. And Grace Hodgins is in lane 4 from Trojan, the 17-year-old, 4:25.51. And she's already beaten her needed time for those youth games you were saying this morning, so
Yeah.
she can run, or can swim, should I say, with an awful lot of freedom this evening.
Yeah, definitely. I think the two Graces actually qualified or were under the consideration standards for European Juniors and Youth Olympics respectively, so they can swim this evening, as I said, with a bit more freedom. I think Grace Hodgins is more of a distance freestyler, so she's coming down to the 400, so it sets her up really well for the rest of the week.
Yeah, Hodgins and Amelia Kane, who was the fastest sea time coming into it in 4 and 5, the two to look out for. Over to Andrew for the call.
All right, a final women's 400-meter freestyle. This is going to be a good one. Grace Davison dropped 4.1 seconds this morning to get into that lane number 3 over there, third position, but she's going to have a good old race. Fastest qualifier, Grace Hodgins. She was at 4:25.51, just outside her best. And then we have Amelia Kane also representing Ards in lane number 5 as we approach the first wall. Let's see what we got. 30.5s across. Very, very close. Hodgins and Kane right there. Who have we got in the third? Cook making a move. But it is early days. But Hodgins looking pretty smooth. So consistent as well with her splits earlier on this morning. She was out in the 103. She was a 103.3, and then she consistently held 107s like an absolute machine. Here we go, turning now. They're already in the mix on a 103.47. Amelia Kane not letting her go with a 103.7. Cook still there on a 104.1, and then Davison on a 104.58. So it is a 17-year-old now. Seeded time 4:25. Coming up to this next wall, she should be around the 2:10 mark or below. I've got a feeling she could be about a 2:08 point mid if she maintains. Kane taking a lot more strokes, but that's her style. She's right on her legs. And then a good race right beside Kane. That's Ella Carroll in the silver cap of Limerick, as Davison has dropped down a little bit. Davison's got a 50 free coming up later as well. So here we go. Just under 2:10.27. Kane on a 2:11. Carroll on a 2:11. And then Grace Davison on a 2:13. That's your top 4 as we are now approaching 225 meters into this 400. So all 33 mids. Average 50 splits here, so 2:44.0. Kane's not too far back, still hanging on there, just past her feet. She's moved over to the right side of her lane, as is Carroll, getting that clear water. So where are we? 3:18 this morning for Grace, 3:18 for that 4:25. She's now on a 3:17, so she can bring it back sub 1:07. That'll be a nice swim, and under that 4:25, all these barriers are important. She's making a good old move now. Here we go, 75 meters to go. No doubt about who's going to win this one. Kane's still fighting, but it's a good battle with Kane and Carroll. And then Davison looks like she's holding on to 4th. A little bit of pressure coming from lane number 8. That's Lottie Cullen from Swim Belfast. Good to see Ross down here. Always good to see the coach Ross down here. So here we go. Finishing off now, last 35 meters. It's all Grace Hodgins from the distance program at the Trojan Swim Club here in Dublin. Tying up a little bit. Is it just me, or is Kane making a move? I don't think it's going to be enough. Hodgins tying up a little bit, as you can see, that kind of jerk stroke towards the end, but that's okay. She's gone out pretty hard. She was a 4:25.5. Let's see if she's under. She does. 4:24.4 for Grace. Nice swim. Amelia Kane second on a 4:26. Good second up on her morning swim. And then Ella Carroll from Limerick comes through on a 4:27.5 for your top three A final 400 freestylers.
Yeah, brilliant swim again from Grace Hodgins. She takes home the senior 400 metre women's freestyle with 4:24.4. Just a second under her time this morning. Amelia Kane in second. Ella Carroll with a very good swim in third as well. But Grace Hodgins, she was out in front pretty much the whole way there, and she didn't look like she was ever getting caught.
No, for sure. She controlled that race from start to finish, and she looked really powerful throughout. I think if she'll be really looking forward to the 8 and the 1500, which are coming up later in the week. And then again from Amelia and Ella, both moved on the times from this morning in second and third place. So I think they're positive swims from them. So I think they'll be out of the pool happy and looking forward to the rest of the swim this week, because I'm sure they'll have a lot more events to come.
Yeah, very much so. A very good start to the week for all of those swimmers. Grace Hodgins confirms the form she showed earlier on this morning with the fastest heat time and the fastest home in the senior final as well, which prompts us to move on to a different event now. We're on to the men's 100 metre breaststroke. So we're going to have a B final here, then a junior final, and then the senior final. Starting off with the B final here. In lane 0 is Zachary Black from Lurgan. In 1 is Shane Kelly from NAC. In 2 is Patrick Curley from ESB. In 3 is Michael McNamara from Clare Morris. In 4 is Nikita Verdernikov from NAC. Killian O'Sullivan in 5 from UCD. Daniel Mulholland from Lisburn in 6. Owen Walsh is in 7 from Cookstown. In 8 is Killian Murphy from Swilly Seals, and in 9 is Ryan H from Dolphin.
It looks like Owen is not there. Owen Walsh is not there in lane 7, so there's an empty lane in lane 7.
All right, it's breaststroke time now here in Dublin. Here we go. There's going to be some nice races coming up. So fastest in on this one, NAC swimmer Nikita Vernikidov, 1:08.96. I might just call him Verdi for this race. Look at him go in the white cap. He's taking this one out. So he was a 1:08 this morning, but he'll be coming through here in about a 31 if he hits it right. 31.2. Not much between them though. Here we go. It's all in that breakout in first few strokes, but it's Verdi. He's going for it. O'Sullivan's second, and then Mulholland was third. Can they close the gap? Training here in his home pool. So let's see what Nikita can do. 22 years old, bringing it home here in this B final. So he's a 1:08.9 out in the 31. He's tying up a little bit, folks. I think he's got enough to hold on though. He's going to be about a 1:07, 1:08 low. Feel the pain. 1:08.32. Take that. O'Sullivan second on a 1:08.80. And then Mulholland from Lisburn on a 1:09.07.
Yeah, Nikita Verdernikov in lane 4 there from NAC, 1:08.32. Was followed all the way by Killian O'Sullivan in UCD. He was sub 1:09 as well. Daniel Mulholland just outside that in third for Lisburn. Very strong swim from Verdernikov, and he takes out the B final.
Yeah, I think those guys just really good to get a second swim and get a chance to improve on their times from this morning. So I think a lot of them improved on those times, so they'll be happy and looking forward to the rest of the meet. And now we've got the junior final, so it's great giving these opportunities for the junior swimmers to get a second swim at an open competition like this as opposed to an age group. So giving them the opportunities to race, especially after the times of COVID, is so important. I think so valuable as an experience for those guys to go through the call room and all of that.
Yeah, you can see in that 100 metre breaststroke though, they go out quite hard for that first 50, and it's really that kind of 60 to 80 metre period which you have to almost grind through
Yeah, breaststroke's a difficult stroke in that you have to be really controlled but powerful. If you try too hard, it's the opposite of what you think. Trying too hard often makes you slower, so you have to be powerful and in control in that first 50. But as you say, you have to be out fast enough. And I think in the senior final, I think a lot of those guys will be looking to get out faster than they were this morning. To go sub 60, which they'll be aiming for, you need to be out at least 28 low. So they'll be pushing that out in the first 50, but still in a controlled way, and then bringing it home strong.
And moving on now to the junior final, which has Ewan Fain in lane 0 for Dolphin, Ben Cardwell in 1 for Bangor. In lane 2 is Ewan Maguire from NAC, Ali Ryan in 3 for Coolmine, in 4 is Liam O'Connor for Terenure, in 5 is Benji Cummings from Ards, in 6 is Cian George, in 7 is Owen Walsh, in 7 is Angus Cook, should I say, in 8 is John Mulhall, and in 9 is David Leggett. This is the junior final of the men's 100 metre breaststroke. The final just went to Nikita Vodernikov from NAC. Just a few minutes prior, Liam O'Connor came here with the fastest qualifying time this morning of 109.22. But in truth, just a couple of seconds between all of these, so this could be a tight enough finish. O'Connor's in 4. Benji Cummings, the 16-year-old from Ards, in 5.
Okay, here we go. Junior final now. Liam O'Connor is the fastest in on a 109.22. These guys have to be out in 31, maybe even 30-point high if they can get it together. Benji Cummings, look out, BC. He's making a move pretty early. I'm liking that stroke too. Look at the speed. So Cummings is coming up pretty good. He's actually taking a good chunk of the rest of the field as he approaches this first wall. He's going to be about a 31 low. 31.38 for Cummings, so if he can bring it back 36. He was a 109.3 this morning, but it's Cummings coming through now. No doubt about it. I don't think anyone's going to catch him. We got O'Connor in 4. And then it's anyone's game. I think it's Rayan in 3, also in the mix. But it's Benji Cummings, the young Ardsman. 15 meters to go. Loving that head drive and acceleration through. He's going to be well under 109, folks, if he can hold on for dear life. Maybe a 107. 107.62 for Benji Cummings. He'll be happy with that. Second place is a 108.67 for Ali Rayan. He came through really nicely on the last 30 meters. And then Liam O'Connor was a 109.2 this morning, and he's gone under 109 with a 108.92. Nice swimming, breaststrokers.
Yeah, Benji Cummings coming out on top there in the junior final, men's 100 metre breaststroke, and he went out fast in that first 50 and has just blitzed them.
Yeah, 31.3 out is pretty fast off one up for a 107, so he's back in the 36, which is a strong back half as well. I think he had one of the fastest back halves and the fastest first 50. So when you do that in a race, you know you're in control of it. So I think that was really strong swim for him, and I'm sure he'll be getting out of the pool tired but happy there.
Yeah, very much so. Excellent swim from the 16-year-old. A very good swim also by Ali Rayan. They're coming through for second in the end in lane 3 from Coolmine. 17-year-old, a very strong second 50 for him. Well, that leads us on to the senior final, which has been warmly anticipated throughout the day. Plenty of these in with great chances. And it'll be very interesting to see where this goes. Starting off with lane 9. The 18-year-old from Ards is Cody Dunyan. In lane 0, closest to us from UCD is Mako Makrovic, the 23-year-old, 108.41 this morning. In 8 is Matthew Hand from Ards, 17 years of age, 107.23 this morning. Paul Cox from Lisburn is in lane 1, the 20-year-old. In 7 is Evan Bailey, the 17-year-old from New Ross. In 2 is Andrew Feenan from NCL. In lane 6 is going to be Morgan Berryman from Larne. 103.65 this morning. It was a strong swim that he'll be looking to improve upon. In 3 is Oisin Cook from Tuam. 102.81. He won the 100 metre breaststroke here in the short course championships before Christmas. In lane 5, the current record holder, Dara Green, the 27-year-old from NCD, 101.89 this morning. And Owen Corby from NCL Limerick in lane 4, 101.64 this morning. Less than a second between three of these this morning, and even with the likes of Andrew Feenan, Morgan Berryman, even Evan Bailey, there's probably 5 or 6 you could name that are going to improve massively on what they've shown already.
Yeah, for sure. Evan Bailey had a great swim this morning. He's predominantly a freestyle flyer, but he 2-second PB this morning, so I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on that again. But the real race, I think, will be in the middle of the pool between Dara, Owen and Oisin. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it should be a brilliant clash, this. The 100 metre men's senior breaststroke final. Should be a fascinating clash. Andrew Bree to call them home.
All right, not going to lie, this could be one of my favourite events of the week. Here we go. We have got a stacked field of breaststrokers in this 100 metre final. Cook has taken it out. He's out in about 11-point high on that first 25. Look at Corby, though. Corby's reach. He was out slower this morning. Corby was out in a 29.1, where Dara Green was a 28-point. Folks, there's nothing between these top three as we approach 50 metres. Here we go, breaststroke. Look at that. 28.88, 29.05 and 29.06. Let's make some noise now that COVID's out and the crowds are in. They can hear you on every single stroke. It's big breaststroke here in Dublin. 25 metres to go. It's still the youngster Cook training over in Edinburgh. Can the Limerick man bring it back? Dara Green just in third. It could be Corby, folks. It could be Corby all the way through. Let's see how close to the minute they're going to get. Probably a 101, 102 as they hit the wall. Corby wins it, 101.53. Nice job, Owen. Second place is Cook on a 101.89. And Dara Green rounding out the top three on a 102.08. Thank you for the entertainment, gentlemen. Great job.
Well, it didn't disappoint. We were hoping it was going to be a clash that wouldn't disappoint, and Corby and Cook, they were at it all the way there. Cook was probably ahead for 80-90 metres of that 100, but Owen Corby's timed it right, and he's got the winning time of 101.53, and he enacts a little bit of revenge over Cook for those short course championship defeats before Christmas.
Yeah, for sure, that was a great race. Oisin took that out really strong. He had a great start and he led for most of that race, but you could just see Owen the last 15 metres picking up his rate as Oisin started to slip a little bit and just got the touch. Owen came back, he was the fastest back in that second 50. He was the only man to go sub 33, he was 32.4, whereas Dara and Oisin were both 33.0. So I think that's where the difference was, but I think that's a really strong swim from Oisin. That's a PB for him, and Owen and Dara's already pre-qualified for Europeans, so he could be still in heavy training, just approaching it as an in-season meet to looking to really peak perform in the summer. But we'll see those boys racing again in the 50 breaststroke and the 200 breaststroke, so there's plenty more racing between those three boys to come.
Yeah, which should be fantastic to see. But Owen Corby takes the senior final this evening here in the Irish Open Championships. He beats Oisin Cook. Dara Green back in third. All very good swims. It was tight. It was always looking like it was going to be. Morgan Berryman as well back in fourth. Another very strong swim from the man from Larne.
Yeah, that's a strong swim from Morgan. Again, moving it on from this morning, which is all you can really ask for. You're just always trying to move forward from heats to finals, and you look back at your race from the mornings and see the areas where you want to improve on, and then you try and execute on them in this evening. So to go faster is always the aim, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that. I know the Commonwealth Games for Northern Ireland will be have an eye on sending a men's 4x1 medley team, although the qualifying standards are really strong. So Morgan is the fastest Northern Irish man in that field, so he's putting his name in the hat for that if they collectively can go under that consideration time when you add up all the individual 100 winners. So he's put his hat in the ring for that, so it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the week plays out, but I'm sure he'll be happy with that.
And it goes to show, as we were mentioning just before coming on here, that sometimes, as much as these races are brilliant to win, you're almost battling against yourself sometimes for those qualifying times, trying to get into sides, there's so much swimming to be done. We were obviously discussing it with John Rudd earlier about just the impact of the schedule, the amount of events coming up for Irish swimmers, for Northern Irish swimmers, and for all of these people it's so crucial to go and improve throughout your season to try and get on these teams.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. The first and biggest competitor you have in swimming is the clock. The people in the lanes beside you come second, because you're always the clock is the always constant. You don't know what's going to happen in the lane next year, what the next person is going to do. So you always know what your target times are and how you processes to get them. So all of these guys will have targets in mind for this meet and then for the summer. So they'll be working towards them and tweaking their race plans accordingly based on how they went and what they think they can improve on. But yeah, for sure, the clock is the biggest competitor in swimming.
Yeah, we're just having a short interval at the moment, as we're going to have a first presentation of medals that we have for this evening's meeting. If you've only just joined us, we've had the 400 metre freestyle for the men's and women's, and we've just seen the 100 metre breaststroke final for the men's, won by Owen Corby. And we will be getting the medals here for, I think, both the men's and women's 400 metre freestyle. And in third, as you can see them lining up there, third was Jack Fleming, 21-year-old from Lisburn. In second was Nathan Whiffen from Larne, obviously doing his training at the moment over in Loughborough. And the winner, Robert Powell.
Yeah, that was a great race between those boys, between Robbie and Nathan. They stuck together for those 300 metres, but Robbie just had that kick at the end, which I think is really positive for him for the 200 freestyle, which will be his main event later on in the week. It's clear that his aerobic capacity is quite good coming off that altitude training. So I'm sure he'll be looking forward to the rest of the week, but it's a really strong start for those boys, and I'm sure they'll be happy. It's always nice when you get on the podium at the national championships.
Yeah, exactly, and especially as you mentioned, getting on the podium so early in the week when you know you've potentially got obviously more events, but even maybe events that you're more specialised in, and to get a win for Robert Powell here in an event that probably wouldn't have been his specialty must be kind of a very satisfying feeling.
Yeah, definitely. I think you underestimate the momentum you gain over a 5-day meet. So if you started off well, you gain momentum and you carry that through into your other events. Whereas if the reverse happens and you don't start as well as you maybe hoped for, it can have a knock-on effect on the rest of the swims. So to start off in a positive way is really important. It gives you confidence heading into all the rest of your swims.
And this is the medal presentation for the 400 metre women's freestyle. That's Ella Carroll on your screen there in third from NCL. In second was Amelia Kane from Ards. Swam a very good race in defeat, but was ultimately no match for Grace Hodgins from Trojan, who swam superbly. Good support for the Trojan Swim Club here today as well.
Yeah, Grace has been swimming really well. Jonathan Preston and Trojan's doing a great job with her there, so she'll be really looking forward to an exciting summer. Hopefully be on the plane heading to European Juniors. And then she's also got a 15 and the 8, which I think would be her specialities. As you said, it's the 400s, the shorter end of her spectrum.
And how does that get identified, I suppose, at a young age, in terms of length of performance, in the pool? Obviously I'm a relative novice to the game in comparison to yourself, but at what stage do you begin, at what age even would you start learning that maybe I'd be better off at shorter distances, or where they build up to these being 800, 1500?
Yeah, I think it's maybe a bit of a natural tendency that you gravitate to one or other event, but it can definitely change as you get older. I know for me personally, I was a back roller when I was very young, and I don't think I've improved much since then, so I moved on to breaststroke from there. But I think a lot of young kids you'll see like different people like Evan Bailey in that 100 breaststroke there. He also will be swimming the 100 fly, 100 free, doing some IM. So at a young age they get exposed to like a lot of events and all the different scope, and then they naturally kind of find their way to certain events. But I think not specialising too early is a really good thing in swimming, and gives you more scope as you get into senior swimming, which I think is the aim, is to keep people in the sport as long as possible and then see where to go from there.
And we're moving on to the women's 100-meter butterfly finals. We have a B final here, and then a junior final and senior final to come. So 3 finals in this event. Starting off with the B final. In lane 0 closest to us is Amelia Joyce. In lane 1 is Grace Coyle. In lane 2 is Neva Hearn. In 3 is Brogan O'Hara. In 4 is Anna Feenan. In 5 is Pippa Mulhall. In 6 is Michaela Domingo. In 7 is Sarah Davidson. In 8 is Nisha Allen. And in 9 is Neve Kenny. Full complement of 10 for this B final of the 100-meter women's butterfly. Should be an exciting event. There's 3 finals coming up. Starting off with that B final. Over to Andrew
B final, women's 100-meter butterfly in the water and underway. Nice breakout swim from Neva Hearn there in 2. The Kilkenny hat popped up at a good distance, but it's anyone's game as we come through. 13-point low on this first 25 of this women's 100 fly. So here we go. Fastest in 106.83, Anna Feenan. We got Mulhall beside her on a 107, so everybody should be around that mix as we approach 30 points, 30.91. Sorry, 30.37 to 30.91. Those are your first 2 as they break away from the rest of the field. It's 25 meters to go now. Oh, she's tying up a little bit. Anna Feenan tying up slightly. The Limerick swimmer. Can the UCD swimmer in lane number 6 come through as well? That's Domingo, but it's going to be, I think, center lane number 5, unless she messes up that finish. Let's see who hits it. Oh, close, 106.52. Pippa Mulhall wins it from Trojan. Second place, Minikia Domingo from UCD on a 106.87. Then rounding out your top 3, Anna Feenan on a 107.34.
Another winner for Trojan, with Pippa Mulhall winning the B final and a time of 106.52, just about repelling Michaela Domingo, who came with a very late flourish for UCD over in lane 6, swimming a very good race. Plenty of those improving nicely on their times from this morning as well.
Yeah, that was a really tight finish. 0.8 between the top 3, and Pippa Mulhall just did enough to get the touch in the end. So it's all about spotting that finish, and she did that perfectly just to get the touch and win that race.
And moving quickly on to the junior final now. Marguerite Buckley in lane 0. In 1 is Izzy McGrath. In 2 is Eliza Logan. In 3 is Hannah McCabrey. In lane 4 is Rosie Whitten. In 5 is Eva Bailey. In 6 is Avian Ivory. In 7 is Hannah Malloy. In 8 is Heather Fain. And in 9 is Lucy O'Brien, just 13 years of age. Lucy O'Brien over in lane 9 from Limerick for the junior final of the women's 100-meter breaststroke. Quite tight in heat times between plenty of these, only a couple of seconds splitting them, so it could be another blanket finish. Rosie Whitten just with the strongest time of 107.29 this morning. The 15-year-old from Swim Belfast. Eva Bailey in lane 5 from New Ross, 107.49. It's just 0.2 of a second between those two. Should be an exciting junior final here in the 100-meter women's butterfly.
All right, junior final now in the water. Fastest qualifier, Rosie Whitten. She was a 107.29. Nothing between them, though. Top 3s, 107 and 108s. That even extends out to the top 4. So let's have a look here as they approach 35 meters in this 100-meter butterfly. Nice race going on over there in lane number 3 and 4. That's McCabrey from Lurgan. She's taking this one out. So these swimmers need to be 31 or below. And they are. There's a stack of 30s lined up, folks. Look at that. McCabrey's taking it out, 30.59. We have Bailey on a 30.66. And then we have Heather Fain. This whole race is spread out there at 50. What's the situation at 75? Still McCabrey. Coming through, New Ross swimmer Eva Bailey in the middle, but McCaffrey just in front. I'm talking half an arm's length as we approach the final and most important 5 meters of the race. So I think it's going to be Lurgan all the way through, probably a 105, just over 106.58. Eva Bailey comes through, actually, I didn't even see that. So McCaffrey 105.88. Bailey on a 106.58, and then we're out in the top 3. Heather Fain from Dolphin, she rounded it out with the, oh, we've switched it up again. That's Ivory now has moved up, so we've got a 105.8, 106.58, and then Ivory finishing the top 3 with a 107.1. Good job, junior final.
Yeah, great swim from Hannah McCaffrey, who takes out the junior final here in 105.88, bettering her time this morning by around 2.5 seconds. She'd be delighted with that. Eva Bailey in second, Avian Ivory from Asgard in third as well. But it was lane 3 the winner, with Hannah McCaffrey from Lurgan, and a distinct round of applause to our left here, Nicholas. I think there was a good Lurgan following crowd in.
Yeah, they definitely seemed happy with that, so I'm sure she'll be pleased. Her supporters were definitely happy, so that's a good sign. But it was a great race. She controlled it. She led from the start. She controlled it, but it was tight. But she was just always that little bit in front and was able to control it on that second 50 and make sure she got that win.
Yeah, builds us up nicely to the senior final now. That's going to take place, which again, not split by too much based off the morning times. Starting off in lane 9 is Zofia Quigley, the 15-year-old from Ards, 105.95 this morning. In lane 0 is Hannah O'Shea from Dolphin, aged 18. In lane 8 is Ellie Donegan, the 19-year-old from Larne. In lane 1 is Alana Burns Atkin, the 16-year-old from Banbridge. In lane 7 is Orla McAndrew, also 16 years of age, this time from Templeogue in Dublin. In lane 2 is Sharon Semchi from Sundayswell. In lane 6 is Andrea Cox, the 19-year-old from Lisburn, 103.74 this morning, 104 to be sub 104. In lane 3 is Ellie McKibben from NCU, who was 103.48 this morning. Caitlin McCaw is going to be in lane 5 from Larne, the 26-year-old, 103.08 this morning for Caitlin McCaw. And in lane 4 is Molly Main, also from Templeogue, the 17-year-old, 102.67 this morning, which was a very strong swim, and she'll be looking to repeat that again.
Yeah, for sure. She's the only girl to go sub 103 this morning, so she'll be looking to improve on that this evening. As I said, she's predominantly a breaststroker, but she's clearly a very talented butterfly swimmer as well. Both her and Orla McAndrew are actually based in Dubai, from Hamilton Aquatics, but representing Templeogue here. So teammates in the senior final and the open final, see how they do.
There should be another fascinating senior final ahead of us if the 3 senior finals we've seen thus far tonight are anything to go by.
Okay, this is the main final now, women's 100-meter butterfly. Let's see how close we can get to the 101s on this 100 fly. So look out for lane number 3 and 4 and 5 in terms of the first 50. That's McKibben taking it out. So Molly Main was at 29.1. She was one of the slowest ones out this morning. That's why I said look at these top 3. There should be 28s, there are 28s. So it's the Larne swimmer, Caitlin McCaw, coming through in a 28.83. McKibben second on a 28.9. And then Simchi on a 28.9. But Main's already made a move. Look at that. She was home in a 33.5. And there's a good old battle here. So it's McKibben and Main all the way through. Main's got that back end speed though as she pulls away from the rest of the field with 15 meters to go. She was a 62.67 this morning. Let's see what she hits the wall in. 61.96 for Molly Main, the Templeogue swimmer. training over in Dubai, wins it. Second place is Sharon Simchi from Sunday's Well on a 1:03.07. And rounding out your top three, Ellie McKibben from the National Centre there in Bangor on a 1:03.4.
Yeah, brilliant swim from Molly Main. We were talking about her just before the swim, 1:01.96. She was fifth at halfway there as well. A brilliant back 50 to go and win comfortably in the end.
Yeah, she looked really powerful. I noticed after her dive, her underwaters were really good, and it was the same. She turned in fifth, but she came off that wall, and after her underwater, she was almost straight away into first, and she looked so strong down that second 50. Really, really positive swim from her. I think that's a big PB from her entry time. It was a PB this morning and another PB. First time to go sub 60. First time to go sub 63 this morning. First time to go sub 62 this evening. You can't ask for much more than that from Molly Main, and I'm sure she'll be really excited for her breaststroke and IM events yet to come.
Yeah, really good swim also from Sharon Semchi from Sunday's Well as well. 1:03.07 for her to get through into second. 21-year-old and Ellie McKibben from NCU was third. Caitlin McCall just outside alongside Andrea Cox. Two of them just missing out on the bronze medal by 0.1 of a second. Just goes to show you the fine margins, especially in these shorter events.
Yeah, the races are really tight, and they're won on the small details, they're won on the turns, and they're won on your underwater work, especially in a fly race like that. So you have to make sure you're on top of all of those to put yourself in with a chance of winning those medals. But Molly was out in front, but those for the silver and bronze medal, it was a really tight race, and girls did really well. They got on the podium.
And another example of a swimmer winning on potentially not their most preferred stroke, but also at the same stage they're adding another, stroke into their arsenal, and that can only help them going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially Molly's only 17. She's still a junior swimmer. She's still figuring out what exactly is her strengths moving forward. So we noticed last year with Ellen Walsh, she would have predominantly been a fly swimmer growing up, but then she actually qualified for the Olympics in medley in the end. So being able to race lots of different events is only a positive thing moving forward when you turn into a senior athlete. So I think it's great to see Molly and everyone else swimming different events. So it's a brilliant part to see. Brilliant to see people trying new things and figuring out, oh, actually I am quite good at this, and then continuing on with it.
Very much so. And it's going to lead us on to our fifth of 7 events this evening, the 200-metre men's butterfly. Just the 2 swimmers on this occasion. In lane 4 we have Dara Lynch from Cormorant, the 19-year-old, and we have Matthew McAviney in lane 5, the 16-year-old from Kilkenny.
All right, men's 2 fly B final underway. Dara Lynch in 4 and Matthew McAviney in lane number 5. So a big difference here with the 2 times. We have the Cormorant swimmer on a 2:14.69 with McAviney on a 2:30.43. As we can see the difference as we approach 50 meters, 28.92. He's taking that out pretty slick. Maybe going for 100 time, not sure. Let's see what he does after this next turn. So I'm looking over to DJ Pat there and checking out when the tunes are coming back on. So here we go, approaching 100 meters. He was fast out. Let's see what he holds on for. He's going to be just over a minute, 1:02, 1:03, 1:03.05. I'll take that. So in order to come home now, if he can bring it home in about an 8 or a 9, that would be nice. McAviney hitting the wall on a 1:13.02. And if he can bring it home with another one of those plus 3 or 4 seconds, he can get under that 2:30 barrier that he swam this morning. Okay, so 1:39.52, clear winner here on this, clear distance in front of the next swimmer. He's going to be coming through, so it's him versus the clock, him versus time. 25 meters to go now for Lynch, the Cormorant swimmer. Spent a few meters in Cormorant back in the day under Trez Began. I see Alan McDonald over there, or sorry, Alan Ferns, what am I talking about? So here we go, 5 meters to go now. He's just going to be over this morning's swim, 2:16 perhaps. 2:16.93, he hits the wall just over. All good though, every race is a learning experience. Here we go. Kilkenny man McAvaney now closing out his 200 fly. So get ready for another 2 big finals coming up. We've got the junior one next, and then finish him at the A final. That's your B final, folks. Good job, swimmers.
That completes the B final. Tara Lynch 2:16.93. Matthew McAvaney 2:32.13 for the 200 meter fly, which is going to move us quickly on to the junior final. So we move on, we've got the junior final and the senior final of this event. Then we've got the eagerly anticipated 50 meter free for the women's, and then the 50 meter backstroke for the men's to conclude the action before a few presentations at the back end here in the National Aquatic Centre for the first day of 5 for the Irish Open Championships. Nice little crowd formed as well, and you'd expect throughout the course of the week it's just going to grow and grow in excitement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a Tuesday evening, so people will be working. By the time we get to Friday and Saturday, I expect there's a good crowd. But as we heard in the men's 100 breaststroke and the women's 100 fly, when the races are excited, there's a good atmosphere here, which is great to see, because last 2 years of racing has been behind closed doors and atmosphere has been lacking. But I mean, it was great to get the opportunity to race at that time. But there's nothing like racing with a crowd and a bit of atmosphere. I know definitely helps athletes to get a little bit more psyched up and excited about racing.
Yeah, looking at this junior final, line 0 Cormac Farron, and 1 is Daniel Edgar, 2 Ronan Kilcoyne, 3 Finlay Wright, 4 Ben Moran, 5 Liam O'Maher, 6 is Samuel Wright, 7 is Conor Johnson, 8 is Alex Barrett, and 9 is Alexander McMullen. All 10 of them going to compete out this junior final of the 200 metre butterfly, and we will be handing you back for the race commentary again to Andrew Bree, who is poolside.
All right, here we go now. This is the junior final men's 200 metre butterfly. Fastest qualifier Ben Moran in lane number 4. He was a 2:15.64. Look out for Mathers though in 5. He was a 2:16, and then we branch out to Samuel Wright on a 2:18. It was a nice PB by him this morning. And then we have Finlay Wright from Banbridge on a 2:18. So there's your kind of mix, but it's anyone's game. Who's that over in lane 2 taking it out? I like it. That's Ronan Kilcoyne, the Sligo man, now coached by Martin McGann, aka Spitz. So here we go. Ben Moran, 29.54, coming through in about 45 seconds now in this 2 fly. So we should see maybe 62, 63s on this wall. But it's the Aer Lingus man coming through, 1:03.17. Kilcoyne still there on a 1:03.55. And then Conor Johnson from Kilkenny on a 1:03.3. Mathers just behind him on a 1:04. So here we go. This is where it's going to start to really hurt now, about 20 meters from this final wall. The Kilkenny man slowing up a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on in lane number 7. That's Johnson. Aer Lingus coming through, coached by Alan Turner. Let's see what he can do. He's really separated himself from the rest of the field. Kilcoyne just about in the mix, and Samuel Wright making a move. Trains hard, the young man. Coached him in the past, and he's going pretty good. Let's see if he can hold on. So we're looking 2:15, 2:16. So Wright still in 3rd. The Kilkenny man Johnson in 2nd. I think actually Johnson's making a move now. Johnson's going to win this one, folks, if he holds on. The youngster from Aer Lingus has dropped off, and it's Johnson takes it 2:12.69. Moran on a 2:13, and Wright drops another bit of time on a 2:15.92. Good job, good job, good job, swimmers.
And the junior final goes to Conor Johnson from Kilkenny, 2:12.69. Qualified just this morning with the time of 2:17.52. So to take the guts of 5 seconds off, very impressive, and a very strong finish to his race as well.
Yeah, definitely. The 200 fly is a really tough event, so making sure you pace that the right way, and that last 50 can be a world of pain with the lactic acid building up. So he obviously paced that really well and had that extra little kick that saw him get the win over Ben Moore. And on that last, it was only the last 15 meters where he really pulled away. You could see he had that little bit extra left that got him over the line and got him that touch in the junior final.
Yeah, Ben Moore in 2:13.22 looked Tongman hosed at the 150 metre mark, but just ended up tying up. But he was still a good 2.5 seconds better than his morning time as well. So very, very good swim from the Aer Lingus swimmer. That's going to move us on to the senior final. And this could be a cracker ahead of us. A few of these really striving to go under that 2-minute barrier here. We've got Paddy Johnson, Ethan Hansen, Liam Custer all trying to get below 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. I think I wouldn't rule out Finn McGeever as well. He was 2:04 in the heats, but a couple of weeks ago at Edinburgh International in March, he went 2:01.9, so he could well be in around that 2-minute mark as well. So I think it'll be a really good race. Paddy Johnson, 1:58.8 at the national team trials here in April last year, so he's the favourite on paper, and he'll be looking to get Commonwealth Games qualification in this 200 free as well. So it'll be interesting to see if these boys can go sub 2, and I think it'll be a really good race.
Yeah, it should be a really fascinating clash between 3 or 4 of these. Looks a very strong race on paper, and they're about to come out here, starting off in lane 9. The 15-year-old from Glenalbyn, Sean Donnellan, 2:13.39 this morning for the 15-year-old. Great learning experience being in this final for him. In lane 0 is Adam Wilson, the 19-year-old from Banbridge. In lane 8 is Adam Colgan from Lisburn, 17 years of age, 2:10.33 this morning for himself. Alex McClellan-Marr from NCL is in lane 1, 20 years of age, just sub 2:10 this morning at 2:09.92. Brogan McAviney, the 19-year-old from Kilkenny, had a very productive short course championships here in December. He's in lane 7. In lane 2 is Charlie Eatwell from Ards, the 17-year-old, 2:09.21 this morning. And then the aforementioned 4, Finn McGeever in lane 6 from NCL Limerick, 2:04.73 this morning. But as Nicholas so rightly pointed out, there's room for manoeuvre off that time, one would have to think. Liam Custer is in lane 3 for Sunday's Well, 2:02.9 this morning. In lane 5 then Ethan Hansen, the 20-year-old from Trojan who already had a good evening here in the day 1 finals, 2:02.05 this morning. And then Paddy Johnson, 2:01.6 for Paddy Johnson this morning, the fastest heat time, and he'll be looking to maintain that going forward into this final in lane 4.
Yeah, it's really interesting looking at these lanes. The 3 guys in 3, 4 and 5 are all actually training stateside, but they're all over here at Irish Open racing this 200 fly, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. Liam Custer did really great this morning. It was a PB, and I think he actually was under the qualification standard or the consideration standard for European juniors. He's heading to Stanford in September, so it'll be interesting to see if he can move on his time from there. Paddy Johnson's over in Cleveland, and Ethan's at Arizona State training with Bob Bowman, so this should be a really good race.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic race. You'd have to imagine the action going to come from lanes 3 to 6 at the business end. 200 metre final. And over to
All right, here we go. Big final, men's 200 metre butterfly. Fastest in, Paddy Johnson from Ards in lane 4. He's entered in a 2:01.6. Now, Paddy went out pretty strong this morning, 26 point, and then dropped back and averaged Well, he was 30 on a second 50, and then he dropped to 32. So let's see if he's going to repeat the same strategy. Those long arms of Johnson as he hits the wall. He's going out very similar to this morning. He was 26.3, he's 26.4. If that's any indication, McGeever there on a 27.1. And then we have Ethan Hansen from Trojan on a 27.5 as we approach 75 meters now. Still Johnson, but the Olympian, the 4x200 meter freestyle swimmer with that Olympic tattoo, is not going to give up either. He's got a good fight in him, so let's see what we're going to approach the 100 meter mark in. We were 56.9 this morning, and it's going to be pretty much the same. 56.66. McGeever on a 57.2. Hansen on a 57.9. And then 58.5 for Liam Custer, the youngster. He's only 18 years old. And he's on a 2:02 from this morning. So let's see what happens. It's Johnson now. Johnson and McKeever as we approach 150 meters. They need to be sub 129. I'm thinking maybe 127 if he can hit it. 128.06. So Johnson now still holding on. Who's got that underwater? Look out for Hansen though. That's Hansen in 5. He had a nice underwater. And look at Liam Custer. What's going on in this 200 fly with 25 meters to go? Can Johnson, fresh out of the States, can he hold on? He's got 15 meters. It looks like he's going to that long reach. Johnson pulling away for the rest of the field. He was a 2:01 this morning. He's going to go sub 2 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes, .0000. Second place, 2:09. 2:01.09 for Custer. I can't wait to check that last 50 meter split from him. He came home like a train. And then in third, Ethan Hansen moved up on a 2:01.6 with McGeever just outside the medals on a 2:02.25. What an exciting last 30 meters. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, what a brilliant swim that was. Paddy Johnson was in front the whole way. 2 minutes on the dot. But Liam Custer in second there for Sunday as well. 2:01.09. But the way he came home in that last 100 metres was really something to watch.
Yeah, he was so controlled through that first 100. He looked almost out of the race. But then on that third 50, you could see he just made a move, and he was 30 point on that 50, which was the fastest third 50 split, I think, and really put him back in contention on that last race, which I think was maybe the opposite tactic to Finn over in lane 6. Finn was out hard and he was pushing Paddy on the first 100, but then that lactic acid that built up over that first 100, and he was maybe hurting down that last 50. But it was a really good race from those four boys. They're all close, and Paddy just 2 minutes 00. I'm sure he would have liked to have gone sub 1:59, but 2 minutes win first national title in the 200 fly. Take the title off Brendan Highland, who's out training in Australia. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. And he's actually also got the 50 back coming up soon, so it's a pretty quick turnaround for Paddy Johnson before his next race.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you're in that situation and you've hit 2 minutes on the dot, but you have won the race, is there a feeling of, I wish it could have been 1:59?
Yeah, 1:59.9 seems an awful lot faster than 2 minutes .1 or 2 minutes .0, so I think swimmers will always hope to get that 1:59.9. It's almost like a little mental barrier break in 2 minutes in 200 fly, or every event has their own little barrier or whatever it is. So 50 point for the men's 100 free is another one, trying to get under those barriers. So whenever you do, you're always quite happy, but in reality there's no difference. 2 minutes or 1:59.99 is very, very, very similar times, but you take the 1:59.9 if you give them the choice.
Yeah, very much so. But Paddy Johnson, a superb swim, and as you say, we're going to see him in no more than 15 minutes time in the 50 metre backstroke final, which is coming up after the 50 metre women's freestyle. We're going to have a few presentations between then and now. We're going to have the 100 metre breaststroke for the men and the 100 metre butterfly for the females. Just reflecting back, I suppose, on that breaststroke final, Owen Corby beating Oisin Cook and Dara Green. For those that have just tuned in, that was the three. Morgan Berryman back in fourth. It was a fantastic swim from all three of these, and you sense that all three will be pretty happy with how they've ended up going out.
Yeah, I think so. I think Owen might be surprisingly, Owen having won the race might be the most disappointed. I'm sure he's not disappointed, but That was a PB from Oisín. Dara's pre-qualified for European, so he's already got eyes in the summer. So Oisín and Owen are looking to qualify, and Oisín has the 200, which I would say is his preferred of the two breaststrokes coming up. But Owen, look, anytime you win a national championship, you have to be happy. So I'm sure Owen is pretty pleased with that as well. He swam a really controlled race. He was out really comfortable on that first 50, and you could just see the last 15 he had that power in his stroke left that he could just come past both the other boys and get the touch. As I said, he was the only man to go sub 33 on that last 50, so you know when you have that little bit of extra energy for the last 50, it definitely helps. It's a lot easier hunting people on the last 50 than it is than it being the one that's hunted.
Yeah, very much so. Well, those were the three men there, Corby, Cook and Green, collecting their medals from earlier on the 100 metre breaststroke final, and now we're going to have the medals for the 100 metre women's butterfly, which was won by Molly Main from Sharon Semchi and Ellie McKibben. So also an excellent race, and Molly Main's put in two very good swims both this morning in the heat, and then to go on and back that up and be so impressive in doing so, she'll have been absolutely delighted.
Yeah, for sure. Two swims, two PBs. You can't ask for much more than that. I think she'll be really happy. I'm sure her coaches are really happy, and they're just excited to see what she's going to do for the rest of the meet. But as I said, you start the meet off with momentum, and it generally means good things to come.
Yeah, very much so. That was Sharon Semchi on your screens at the moment from Sunday as well. Very good swim from her to get that silver medal. And it is Molly Main who was the winner. And a really great time for all of those, especially, as you say, winning a national competition at the Irish Open. First day must be a very special and proud feeling.
Yeah, definitely. As a 17-year-old winning your first, or I'm not sure if it's a first, but winning a national title on the first day is a great start to the meet. And the women's breaststroke is always a really competitive event. And you've got Niamh Coyne, who we'll see later. You obviously have Mona, who saw amazing in the Olympics. So Molly's always been up against them in the breaststroke and the IM. So to have the 100 fly is a little bit of a different event for her, and to pick up a national title, and that is, I think, she'll be definitely happy going home, ready for the rest of the racing this week.
Yeah, very much so. Those are the presentations for now, which should lead us on quite nicely to our final two events of the evening. So we're going to have the 50 metre freestyle for the women's and the 50 metre backstroke for the men's, followed by the presentation of those two events, plus the 200 metre fly that we just saw there, with Paddy Johnson taking the gold from Liam Custer, and Ethan Hansen back in third for Trojan. It's been a great first day thus far here in the National Aquatic Centre. We really hope you've been enjoying the coverage, brought to you by HPV Studios in conjunction with Swim Ireland, and it's the first of a long but great week to be back here in the Aquatic Centre. All 5 days going to be brought to you on the Swim Ireland YouTube channel. I suppose give us a taster for what might be to come over the next couple of days.
Yeah, definitely getting that first day of competition not out of the way, but getting that first day of competition in is really important for the swimmers, because it really does set them up for the rest of the week, and it gives them the confidence to know that they're in good shape and ready to race fast.
Yeah, so we have the B final for the 50 metre freestyle, the splash and dash here. In lane 0 is Holly Clifford, in lane 1 is Sophia Quigley, in 2 is Roisin Irene, in 3 is Lottie Cullen, 4 is Ciara Williams, Olivia Miss Kelly is in 5, Shannon Byrne is in 6, Laura Potts in 7, Eliza Logan in 8, and Lauren Farr, the furthest away from us, in lane 9 for the B final of the 50 metres. Blink and you'll miss it stuff here, these 50 metre events. As we crescendo towards that senior final between Danielle Hill and Erin Reardon, are we going to see a national record being broken in the next couple of minutes, but we will be starting off with this B final. Fastest qualifier this morning was Ciara Williams from NAC, the home swim club here. Olivia Miskelly, the 15-year-old from Banbridge, at 28.55 was the second fastest. So there to keep the right side of in this race. But as we have done all the races thus far today, we'll be handing you over to Andrew Bree, who's going to be taking you through the B final.
Okay, we're going to see some maybe 27 high action in this one. Let's see, that's first up. That's Williams, Miskelly and Cullen are right beside her, but look out, Lottie Cullen in lane number 3 is going on this one. Let's see how it evens out as we approach 15 metres from the wall. Lane number 4 now coming through. That's Williams. She's going to be holding on. She was at 28.14 this morning. It's going to be a quick, tight finish. Who's going to get it on the wall? 27.82 wins it for Ciara Williams. Nice sub 28 there. Olivia Miskelly second on a 28.02. And then Shannon Byrne from Bangor representing on a 28.35. There's your top 3 in the B final, women's 50 free junior final. Coming up next.
Yeah, win there for Ciara Williams from NAC in lane 4. Beating Olivia Miskelly right beside her in lane 5. The two of them alongside Shannon Byrne back in third, all bettering their morning times. So good progression on show yet again.
Yeah, definitely. As we said, moving on from heats to finals is the aim of the game at this stage. So Ciara breaking that 28-second barrier is definitely a really good swim from her. So yeah, I think those girls will be happy with their evening's work.
And how important is it for these young swimmers, you know, ages 14, 15, 16, to be getting that experience in the National Aquatic Centre in front of a crowd, getting that taste for the atmosphere, and to having to have that pressure upon you to go and perform on the big days?
Yeah, definitely. I think you grow from those experiences, having to go through the whole call room experience, have to sit there and manage your nerves and excitement so that when you're called out to race, you're ready to go. So I think having these young kids being exposed and having them in the call room with Danielle Hill, having represented Ireland at the Tokyo Olympics, I'm sure some of those girls were sitting there looking and being like, oh my God, there's Danielle Hill. So putting them through that and seeing them next to the senior athletes is really positive for their progression, their growth as they go along. So it's been missing with COVID over the last few years. So I think it's great to see those junior swimmers and the senior swimmers back racing together.
And when you were a little bit younger, what would the main nerves have been in that sort of call room situation? Would you have been, is there ever a case of almost being overawed by the type of athletes you'd have been in there with?
Potentially when you're younger, yeah, there's a chance you see these guys. I know I was very lucky to Andrew Bree was a role model for me and then also Barry Murphy. So we had male breaststroke Olympians ahead of me that I was always looking at, and I remember racing Barry and being in the call room like, oh, there's Barry Murphy. So you do definitely take notice, but you have to stay on top of that and learn from that experience so that you're able to still perform your own race.
Very good. Junior final here. Molly O'Brick in 0, Rosie Whitten 1, Leah Bailey 2, Nisha Allen in 3, Rosalie Phelan in 4, Orla McAndrew in 5, Amy Noble from Asgard in 6, Megan Jones in 7, Namone Rogers in 8, and Isla Henry in 9 for the junior final of the 50 metre freestyle. Coming up with Andrew Bree now at poolside.
Okay, Cormoran swimmer fastest in, that's Phelan on a 27.76. There's a stack of swimmers in those centre lanes, all on 27s. McAndrew, Allen, Noble. So here we go, beautiful to watch a big line of swimmers. Who's that out in lane number 2 making moves? New Ross, Bailey. Can Bailey hold on over in the corner? I'm not sure as the rest of the field now catch up. I think it's going to be Cormac. That straight arm technique looks like she's got the reach. 27.7. She's a 27.58 tonight. 27.7 this morning. Nice work from Miss Phelan there from Cormac. 27.58 wins it. 27.74 for Bailey. She had a brave swim out in lane 2. And then rounding out your top 3, McAndrew from Templeogue on a 27.79. Nothing between those top 5 swimmers. Good job. A final up next.
Yeah, Rosalie Phelan taking out the junior final at 27.58, which just goes to show there between first and fifth. difference of 0.24 of a second. It's small margins in these 50-metre races.
Yeah, definitely. You have to get all your skills right. You have to get a great dive, a great breakout, and then hold your stroke and hold your power right through the race. You almost have to segment your race into the break, the middle section of the race, and then the finish, and make sure you're nailing all of those things. And as you said, as a blanket finish, Leah Bailey from out in lane 2 came second. So you've got a lane in these sprint events. You've got a chance. It's just about executing your plan, your races, and then seeing how fast you can go.
Rosalie Phelan taking out the junior final for Cormorant Swim Club from Leah Bailey from New Ross, which brings us on to the senior 50-metre freestyle final. Starting off in lane 9 with Rebecca Lowe from UCD, the 20-year-old. In lane 0 is Molly Nolte from Swilly Seals. In lane 8 is the 14-year-old from Portmarnock, Ava Jones. In lane 1 is Molly McAlorum from NCU. In lane 7 is Sharon Semchi from Sundays Well. We just saw her collect a silver medal in the 100-metre fly just a few minutes ago. In lane 2 is Naomi Trait from Kilkenny. In lane 6 is Rebecca Reid from Ards. In lane 3 is Grace Davison, just 15 years of age, Grace Davison, 27.07 this morning. And then lane 5, Erin Reardon from NCD. And lane 4, Danielle Hill from Larne. Both of them qualifying at 25.67 this morning. That women's senior record set by Danielle Hill herself, 25.19. Very interesting to see whether herself or Reardon can go close to breaking that on the first day of the Open Championships here in the National Aquatic Centre. Hill in 4, Reardon in 5. You'd have to think it's between the two.
I think so. I think definitely it's between the two. And Erin Reardon should be looking at European senior qualification. The time is 25.42, so she's 0.15 off that. Danielle is already pre-qualified, having represented Ireland at Tokyo, so she doesn't have to actually do the qualifying time, but Erin Reardon is 0.15 off that, so that'll definitely be in her mind this evening to try and swim fast, hopefully get the win and get under that time.
A brilliant occasion this. Hill in 4, Reardon in 5. Youngsters like Davison in 3, Ava Jones in 8, just 15 and 14 respectively. Be handing it over to Andrew Bree. Will we be seeing a record broken?
All right, 25.67 for both fastest qualifiers. Reardon and Hill in the centre lanes, flanked by Reid and Davison, but the two of them coming through. 11.1 on my watch. This is going to be an absolute battle, stroke for stroke. It's Hill and Reardon, so they were 25.67 this morning. Let's see if they can get under. It looks like Hill's taking that slight reach. He's going to hit the wall first on a 25.30. Reardon second on a 25.59. And then Grace Davison slipping under that 27 mark with a 26.97 for the youngster. Good job, swimmers.
Yeah, brilliant swim there from Danielle Hill and Erin Reardon. The two of them broke free relatively quickly there. Hill 25.3, just 0.11 seconds off her Irish senior record, and Erin Reardon was with her all the way until maybe that last 5-10 yards.
Yeah, it looked a really tight race for her, the first 30 metres, but then Danielle just had too much of the last 50 metres. She just pulled away. She was able to use her good underwaters at the start to get a great start, and then held the middle section of her race, and then really was able to push home in the last 15. I think that's another PB from Erin Reardon as well, so I think she'll be happy with that. But Danielle is showing her class there, our Irish Olympian and Irish record holder in that event, so she's doing enough, and she'll have her sights firmly set on representing Northern Ireland at the Commonwealth Games and also representing Ireland at the European Championships in Rome later on in the summer. So we'll be seeing lots of Danielle Hill racing, and she's been in great form, so that's exciting. She was also representing one of the Irish swimmers at ISL before Christmas. She was on Team Iron, so she's had a really exciting year from Tokyo to ISL and then Commonwealth Games and Europeans this year, so a lot of fast swimming to be done and already done.
Yeah, very much so. And just touching on Grace Davison there, dipping under the 27-second mark, 26.97. Just 15 years of age to be in a final such as that, to pull out a time such as that as well, to come third in the national championships at 15 years of age with some going.
Yeah, definitely. I actually think that's under the consideration standard for the Youth Olympic Festival, so I'm sure she'll be delighted with that. We also seen her in the pool not so long ago for the women's 400 freestyle, so to do 400 freestyle and come back and PB like that in the 50 freestyle shows some real class and composure for a 15-year-old, so brilliant swim for her.
Yeah, very much so. We move on to our final event of the day, the 50-metre backstroke here. And we start off with the B final. In lane 0, Evan McCabe. In 1 is Owen Rinn. In 2 is Emmett Cousins. In 3 is Oisin Tibet. In 4 is Rory Lee. In 5, Conor McMenamin. In 6 is Evan Simpson. Fionn Byrne in 7. Martin Fiala in 8. And Ray O'Shea is in 9 for the B final of the 50-metre backstroke. Our last event here on the first day of the Irish Open Championships.
Sorry about that late start, left the microphone on the table. So Rory Lee, he was a only swimmer under 29 seconds, and he's taking this one out in the green cap for Sunday's well. Let's see how much more he can go under that 29 barrier. 28.91 this morning, no doubt about it. He's going to win this one. Second place is going to be McMenamin, but Rory wins at 29.10 with Conor McMenamin at a 29.4. And then Oisin Tibet rounding out your top 3 on a 29.47.
Goes to form the B final of the 50-metre backstroke. Rory Lee, Sunday's well, 29.1, beating Conor McMenamin. Poseidon, 29.41. Oisin Tibet, 29.47, back in third. Oisin Tibet bettering his time this morning by a good second there, so he'll be very pleased back in third.
Yeah, it's great to see 5 people sub 30 in that race. We only was 1 after the morning, so those boys will be happy with that. Rory Lee was just 0.2 off the time he did this morning, so he was the only person in that field to have gone 28 point, but the other 4 guys went sub 30, which is another one of those barriers to break.
Yeah, very much so, and moves us on to the junior final. Second last swim this evening. We're going to have Sean Bugler in lane 0 for Sunday's well. In lane 1 is going to be Michael Keogh. In 2 is Noah Switzer. In 3 is Dara Morgan. In 4 is Bryden Byrne, the 15-year-old from Bangor. In 5 is Harry Winston, the 17-year-old from Aer Lingus. 6 is Senna Noonan, the 18-year-old from Aer Lingus, 29.03, his qualifying time. Jericho Balgas is in lane 7. In 8 is Christopher Mason. That's David Paul from Portmarnock over in lane 9. Very little between all of these on qualifying times, just over a second, so I'd expect to see a fairly close finish in store for us here. Bryden Byrne just about the only one to break the 29-second mark in the heats this morning. 28.97 for him. He'll be looking to continue that, and you'd have to think if he does so, he'd have a chance of upholding the form from earlier. So Bugler, Keogh, Switzer, Morgan, Byrne, Winston, Noonan, Balgoff, Mason and Powell for the 50-metre backstroke junior final. To get into the pool. Quick fire stuff. Who can break that 29-second barrier?
Junior final in the water. Here we go. Fastest swimmer in Bangor, Brendan Byrne. He was a 28. Ooh, that was a tight break out there from 3. Let's see what happens as we come through 25. 12-point low. All the way through. Nothing separating these guys. I think it could be lane number 3 over there having a good break out. Dara Morgan from Coolmine, but it's anyone's game I'm thinking now Burns coming through for Bangor in the white cap. Is he going to hit the wall first? He does on a 28.52. Second place, Sean Noonan from Aer Lingus on a 28.72. And then rounding out your top three, men's 50 backstroke junior final, Dara Morgan on a 28.87. We have one more final left for tonight. That will be day one at the Irish Championships. We've got 4 more days of fast racing.
Yeah, Bryden Byrne, he does uphold the form from earlier and takes out the junior final with a time of 28.52. Senna Noonan and Dara Morgan also joining him, sub 29, 28.72 and 28.87 respectively. Good swims all round. We'll move us on to the senior final. Our last event on the card this evening. Could be a very interesting one though. We saw Paddy Johnson already take out the 200 metre fly. He's now taking on the 50 metre backstroke on this occasion. I suppose you might give us a little bit of intel into the differences. Obviously one at that 200 metre fly, very much an enduring stamina test to the speed of a 50 metre backstroke.
Yeah, definitely. Speed, yeah, you need to get off that wall really quickly and get those underwaters moving there. Underwaters and backwall is the fastest part of your swimming, so utilising them to the max and then trying to get that stroke rate up. You've got to have a high tempo on a 50 back, but make sure you're catching water and not slipping too much. 50 backhaul is definitely a real art. It'll be exciting to see how these boys do. A lot of these have already raced already in this session, whether it's Paddy Johnson in the 200 fly, Eddie Irwin and John Shortwell in the 400 free. So a lot of people are doubling up in this event. It'll be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, looking at this final. Lane 0, Ewan McLeod from ESB. In lane 1, Aaron Keating from Cormorant. 2 is Daniel Mulholland from Lisburn. 3, Neddy Irwin from NCL. Paddy Johnson, the aforementioned Paddy Johnson from Ards in 4. Matthew Walsh-Hussey from NAC, the home club here in 5. John Short from Bluefin in 6. Callum Ashton from UCD in 7. Charlie Cassidy from Dolphin in 8. And Aidan Cook from Kilkenny in 9. Johnson 26.55 his seed time this morning, which was near on a second ahead of Matthew Walsh-Hussey. You'd have to think he's favoured to maybe bag a second Irish title this evening.
Yeah, it looks like it on paper. He's the fastest entry by 0.8 of a second. So over at 50 metres, that's a significant margin. So you'd have to fancy Paddy to take the win in this one. But it'll be interesting to see if any of the other guys can go sub 27 and go 26 point as well, and to see how fast Paddy will actually go. These boys, the guys who have raced, will just be out of the swim down pool, have come straight from the swim down pool, trying to push out that lactic acid, especially Paddy after a 200 fly, which is a pretty grueling event. So he'll be straight out of the swim down pool and into this 50 back.
Yeah, it should be a fascinating way to cap off this evening's events. I'm going to hand you over to Andrew Bree for the last time this evening to talk home the 50 metre backstroke senior final. Paddy Johnson in lane 4.
Okay, so one swimmer under the 27 barrier. That's Paddy Johnson coming up at 14.88 metres. Look at that start. They don't mess around with the collegiate system out there, and he's obviously working pretty hard. Look at him go, folks. He was at 26.55 this morning. Let's see if he can dip into that 26.2, 26.3 world. The tempo's right there. It's anyone's race for second. Looks like Walsh-Hussey, but Johnson wins it. 26.06. Nice swim from Paddy. Way faster than this morning. Could be a personal best, not sure. Walsh Hushy comes in on a 27.31, and then rounding out your top three, John Short, you've seen that name earlier from the 4 free. He's on a 27.44.
And it goes to Paddy Johnson, 26.06, another extremely impressive swim from him this evening, bettering his time this morning by 0.5 of a second. And Matthew Walsh-Hussey, a good swim from him as well, improving his morning time, but it was in vain.
Yeah, definitely. Paddy led that race from the start. That 200 fly, that underwater work that he's so good at in that 200 fly, he used that, and he was leading as soon as he popped off after his underwaters, and he just powered away from the rest of the fields for the rest of the 50. So 26.06 is a really strong time for Paddy, and just win your second national title in the space of half an hour is an evening's work well done.
Yeah, very much so. And it wraps up what has been a brilliant evening of action. Just having a look back on it there, we've had some fantastic winners of all these events. I suppose, what were the standout moments for yourself?
I think there's a couple of really great races this evening. I think the 100 breaststroke definitely stands out as a really, really strong one. The three boys are really close, with Owen Corby getting the touch ahead of Oisin Cook and Dara Green. I think that was a really exciting race and sets those up for the 50 and the 200 breaststroke, where they'll go head to head later on in the meet. I think also watching the 50 freestyle for the women, watching Danielle Hill get 0.11 off her own Irish senior record, and watching Erin Reardon push her all the way was really impressive as well. And I think maybe the race of the evening was the actual men's 200 fly. It was the men's 200 fly where Paddy, who we just seen the 50 back, led the race out from the start, but he was pushed all the way by Finn McGeever. But then Liam Casson came through on the back 100. He paced the race really well to actually finish in second, with Ethan Hansen coming in third. They were really exciting races. I think you also had the women's 400 free, where you had some of the junior girls qualifying for the Graces, qualifying for European Juniors and European Youth Olympics. So I think that was a really exciting race, the women's 400 freestyle as well.
Yeah, very good synopsis there from Nicholas, and it's been great to have him on co-commentary with me throughout the day. And we're just going to have the final couple of presentations this evening, and hopefully I'll be able to get down poolside as well for a couple of interviews with a few of our winning swimmers from this evening. It's been a fantastic day of action, and I'll look forward to welcoming you back tomorrow morning for the second heat. But for now, I'm going to leave you, and I will hopefully see you back at poolside in a couple of minutes' time for a couple of interviews. But for now, I will leave you in the capable hands, and I will see you in a few minutes.
So yeah, we've got presentations now for the men's 200 fly and the 250s at the end, the female 50 freestyle and the male 50 back. So they're just getting the athletes all together, ready to get their presentations. Men's 200 fly presentation is first, where you've got the winner of Paddy Johnston. Second place was Liam Casson, and third place was Ethan Hansen. So these swimmers will all be swimming down after their finals, and they'll be called out for the medal presentations. So they'll be pushing out, trying to get that lactic acid out, getting ready, because we're only on day one of a 5-day meet. So making sure you're getting that recovery is so important for the races that are still to come. But hopefully these boys will be here to collect their medals, because it's not often you win national titles. So they'll be trying to get down to the podium for their presentations now. And then we'll have the female 50 freestyle, where we'll have Danielle Hill, who, as we said, was just 0.11 off her Irish senior record, and Erin Reardon pushed her all the way for that second place. And then the 15-year-olds in Grace Davison coming in third, which was a brilliant swim for her, and I think it was under the consideration standard for the European Youth Olympic Festival, which is being held in Slovakia later on this summer. So they'll be looking forward to that. So I think we have the boys here now for the men's 200 fly presentations. So the bronze medal winner is Ethan Hansen from Trojan, but he's actually training out in Arizona State with Bob Bowman, who is coach to Michael Phelps, obviously world record, or well, not world record holder now in the tuna fly, but he was a world record holder for many years. And then Liam Casson was a silver medalist. He's training with Sarasota Sharks, but representing Sunday Wells Swimming Club here, and he's actually joining Stanford college team in September. And then the gold medal winner we have here, we have Paddy Johnson from Ards. He's over training stateside. Actually, all these three men are training stateside. You've got Paddy Johnson training with Cleveland State. You've got Ethan training, as I said, with Arizona. And then you've got Liam, who is in Sarasota Sharks in Florida, but is moving in September to represent Stanford in college. So great to have all these guys. I'm sure they'll all be happy with their swims, and they'll have plenty more races to come. And now we're moving on to the women's 50 freestyle. So we have Grace Davison picking up the bronze medal. She had a fantastic swim, and I think, as I said, I think she's gone under the qualification standard, the consideration standard, I should say, for the European Youth Olympic Festival, which will be held later on in this summer. So she's swimming for Ards, and Curtis Coulter is our coach there in Ards, and she's doing a fantastic job with those swimmers, and we'll be looking forward to an exciting summer for her. And then you also have Erin Reardon picking up her silver medal. She was representing Ireland last summer, or at the European Championships in Budapest. She was on those relays looking to qualify, so she'll be hoping to be representing Ireland again this summer. Hopefully she'll be looking to be part of some teams. And then our gold medal winner, we have Danielle Hill, our Tokyo Olympian, an Irish senior record holder in the 50 freestyle. She was just 0.11 off her Irish senior record. And she's, as I said, she's already pre-qualified for both the Commonwealth Games, which have been held in Birmingham, and also her European Junior, or Europeans, which have been held in Rome in August. So she's pre-qualified from the Tokyo Olympics. So her sights will be firmly set on that, and she'll be using this to gauge where her training is at and to see if there's any tweaks she needs to make, whether she'll be speaking with her coach, Peter, when they get back, and deciding on their training plan heading into the summer, and hopefully looking forward to some really fast swimming both in Birmingham and in Rome. And now I think we're going to move on to our final presentation, which is the men's 50 metres backstroke. So we have, representing Bluefin Swimming Club, we have John Short, who improved on his heat time to pick up that bronze medal. In second place, we have and then Paddy Johnson in first place. So that's a double. To win 2 national titles in the space of half an hour for Paddy Johnson is pretty impressive. Doubling up at tuna fly is a pretty tough event. And then to back that up with a 50 backhaul win is really good. And we just have Matthew Walsh-Hussey picking up his silver medal representing NAC Club. I'm sure he'll be delighted with his swim. And a great evening's racing for these boys. And sets them up well for the next 4 days of competition here at the NAC in Dublin at the Irish Open.
We're here poolside with the winner of the 400 metre freestyle, Robbie Powell. Robbie, it was a brilliant swim this evening, and you must have been delighted to take home the win.
Yeah, definitely. Before today, I didn't know who was going to be in it until this morning. So I came in and I saw the race, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a nice race. Like, it's got guys in my kind of, I suppose, time range like that." So I was really excited to see there's going to be a race. I love that. Like, so I got the middle lane in the morning, just did what I had to do, and raced it up in the evening. Yeah, so I was happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that you shaving an awful lot of time off your morning time. Was it just a case of almost job done this morning to get that middle lane?
Yeah, whatever it is, like I think it might be just my morning, like the threshold not warming up in the morning. I really struggle in the morning, so I did take it easy. But when I touched that wall this morning, I felt in way more pain than I was this evening. But I just know I go for the nap, get fueled up, come back in, train up or warm up again, and I just feel so much more smoother and whatever it is in the finals. So hopped in the water and just knew what I had to do. Just I was more connected in the water, and just went for it. Gave it more energy into it.
And to be pushed by somebody like Nathan on your inside there as well, that must almost be a good driving factor for you to keep going.
Oh yeah, I don't think I would have broken 4 minutes without him. It was every time I came off that wall, because I was breathing. If I was coming down towards this wall, I was breathing that way, so I couldn't see him. And I tumble, and I realised he's after passing me again. So it was a good battle between that. Every time I saw him, I was like, I better get ahead of him here. So I like that. I enjoy when I'm able to do that. When someone's too far ahead or too far behind, it's too hard to kind of judge where you are. So when they're side by side, I like that. I really thrive kind of the fight.
Yeah, a very great start to the week for you. A few more events throughout the week as well. You must have great aspirations.
Yeah, no, that's one of the goals was to break 4 minutes this week, so I'm already ahead of that. We got the 100 tomorrow, then a day off, lovely, 200 free on a Friday, and then 100 free on 50 free then finish off. So that's lovely. I'm excited for that. So whatever, I think the most excited for the 400 and the 50 this week, just because I never get to really race them. I didn't do them last year. And I didn't get to do them the year before, so it's just really refreshing doing that, and I'm really enjoying the changing it up a bit. So I'm excited for the 50 now, but 100 tomorrow. I know that I've done that a lot. 200, that's all, day in day out. We just do 200 pace. We practice our rates and stuff like that. So I know exactly how the 200 is going to go. So I'm excited for that too. But it's just I've done it. I know where I am at, and so it's not as exciting as the others where I don't know, anything could happen. So.
Congrats, Robbie, and best of luck for the rest of the week.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers.
And we're going to bring in Danielle Hill now. Danielle, winning the 50-metre freestyle, you must have been delighted with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy enough. Come here with really low expectations, just because of where I'm at with training. So I wanted to get in there, and I knew that Erin was looking for her European time, so I wanted to push that a little bit and see how far we could get. So really exciting to have someone to race as well. So yeah, overall a really good start to the meet, and looking forward to the next 4 days.
Yeah, and as you say, Erin being there beside you, you had the same qualifying time this morning in the seeds. A nice little way to push both of each other really onto a better times in that final.
Yeah, well that's it. Like it's, I've always been a massive advocate for pushing female sport, and especially within the sport that I do. So it's great to have her now coming along and pushing through, and she's still got the 100 to go and get that consideration time, and we're now looking towards relays for female swimmers, which is incredible and something that Irish swimming hasn't really had over the years. So it's a really exciting time and a really nice environment to be in.
And your aspirations for this summer, obviously a really busy summer for everyone here in Swim Ireland. It must be a very exciting time to be involved.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a massive summer. For myself as a Northern Irish athlete, I have Commonwealth Games just before Europeans, so that back-to-back is going to be really interesting. But we're looking forward to it. I swam ISL at the start of the year, and I know what it is to swim back-to-back meets in that kind of environment. So I don't feel nervous or scared. I'm walking into it and quite confident actually. So yeah, it should be really fun, and hopefully we get a good number qualified from this meet.
And how do you feel with your own individual progress going into those bigger targets later on this summer?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. We haven't rested for this because that is the main goal of the season. So we're just working away. We're chipping away at little goals in training. And the big picture for me is the Commonwealth Games, and hopefully bounce off the back of that into Europeans. And I'll probably be one of the oldest girls on that team, so I'll be a kind of a leader, a role model for those girls coming through as well. So that's a really nice position to be in, and motivates me.
Thanks, Danielle. Best of luck for the rest of the week.
Thank you.
It was great to hear from both Danielle Hill there and Robbie Pell, both winners on day one of the Irish Open Championships here in the National Aquatic Centre. We really hope you have enjoyed the coverage brought to you by HBV Studios in conjunction with Swim Ireland, and make sure to get in touch on the Swim Ireland social media channels, and make sure to join us tomorrow morning at 9:30 for the day 2 heats for the Irish Open of 2022. But until then, I hope you stay safe. I'll see you guys very soon.